We now will move to the 155-pound class, and in the match we'll be bringing you, it will be a Class A match, and it will be a very meaningful match. It will pit Kurt Searvogel of Waupun against John Nelson of Stoughton, and Nelson is 26-2, and Kirby, in order for Stoughton to win the team championship, Nelson has to win this match. And of course that would have to be coupled with a Wisconsin Rapids loss by Dave Witt at 185 pounds, and that'll be coming up a little later.
And immediately Nelson is going after a fall situation. We have a 4-point takedown coupled with a 2-point reversal.
And with only 15 seconds gone, we have 6 points scored in this match already, as Nelson leads it by a score of 4-2. Nelson is a senior, as is Searvogel.
It's 4-2 now in favor of Nelson. Nelson immediately goes to a sit to try and counter the legs of Searvogel, and he's successful. Comes in, turns it into a double leg or a high crotch single situation. Here he comes. Got himself a reversal and almost big back points right there. Marsh, he turned him over.
6-2 the score. Nelson leads it with 1 minute remaining here in the first period. Nelson from Stoughton, coached by Vern Pieper. Most of you wrestling fans know the tradition, the wrestling tradition at Stoughton High School, where such great wrestlers as Russ Hellickson and Andy Ryan preceded some of the wrestlers you're seeing here in this tournament. Searvogel from Waupun, coached by Dave Rohrer in his 16th year. 35 seconds remaining in the match. 6-2 the score. Nelson still leads it as they go off the mat. The officials in this match, John Remmel from Sheboygan Falls, John Rommel I should say.
There certainly is no lack of action so far. We have 8 points scored in 1 minute and 30 seconds, and all kinds of out-of-bounds situations. Nelson, of course, we keep repeating, of Stoughton, must win this match in order for his team to be having any kind of a chance at all of winning a team title. They are at present behind by a score of 89 to Wisconsin Rapids' 92.5 points.
We're winding down in the first period. Class A, 155 pounds. John Nelson, Kurt Searvogel, and that's the end of the first period. For those of you that may have joined us late and wondered why we have 3 matches going on at the same time, whereas last year and in many previous years we've only had one on Saturday night in the championships, the WIAA has revamped the format, and last year, you may remember, there was a grand champion crowned after the 3 class champions were decided. One of the winners in Class B and Class C went against each other and went against the Class A champion for the championship to be named the grand champion, and this year they have eliminated that round so that we will have 3 state champions, 1 in each class, and that is what is being determined tonight. There certainly has been plenty said about the previous format, where you have 1 champion for the state and he knows he is the #1 guy, and of course the format that is now in existence where you have 3 class champions, and you always kind of wonder whether you could have beat the other 2.
Well, this is the problem with the classes, and those of us who rather opposed it to begin with felt that this was true. You came in here with a whole lot of people wondering who was best, and when you leave, Marsh, you still wonder who's best. Apparently right now the most people in the state seem to like it, and we're right in here wrestling with it.
Right. We might say that it certainly gives a lot more boys an opportunity to compete at a championship level, because we have 6 going tonight for the title.
Right. Here we are now with John Nelson with 1 minute 9. He's in with a Cornell ride, attempting to take Kurt Searvogel and lift him and turn him. It's not to be. Turns right around, goes to a tight waist and a bar, and they go out of bounds. Referee John Rommel signals that they change of position.
55 seconds remaining in the second period. Class A competition, 155 pounds.
Searvogel attempts to stand. and succeeds in getting a whizzer in, and there he comes out. Looks like he may get his 1 point.
Trip tried by Nelson. Steps over, locks up the leg.
Still got that whizzer in. We'll probably find the referee calling a stalemate unless we can get out. Here it comes. It looks like it may turn out to be the one, and he does say yes. They are in neutral position, so the score now moves to 6-3.
15 seconds remaining in the second period, and Nelson with a cool move takes him to his back. We may see back points, 2 for the takedown and 2 back points, and Nelson leads it now 10-3. And the Stoughton crowd at the far end of the field house cheering and standing on their feet as the period comes to an end. And Nelson has a 7-point lead as we see a replay now of the throw by Nelson as he gets the takedown and a beautiful counter. Actually, Searvogel was making the move. Nelson countered for the takedown and the back points as we come back now to live action in period 3.
Nelson now will have to come out from underneath. He won't be permitted to just sit down there and rest on that 7-point lead. Searvogel, of course, is going to have to go and put him on his back. That's the only way he's going to be able to bring this thing out.
Searvogel trying to pull him back on the mat now. Nelson, of course, doesn't want to get in trouble for stalling, especially with a lead of this type. And on the other hand, Searvogel has to gamble right now.
And here we have a penalty for locked hands against Kurt Searvogel, so the score now moves out to 11-3. I was going to say, during this injury timeout, looks like Searvogel has injured his upper area there right under his arm. There hasn't been an awful lot, at least in the finals, of the, I think this sort of varies from year to year. Whatever seems to work for 1 or 2 real good wrestlers, other people imitate. But I thought at this point that maybe Searvogel might let him up in an attempt to try and create some situation that he could catch up the points. But there's no way that he's going to be able to do that now. He's going to have to put Nelson on his back.
We're back to action now with 1:29 remaining in the third period. Nelson with a commanding lead has Searvogel on his back, and if he can hold him there, he doesn't. He turns over and makes an escape, but there are 2 more back points for Nelson, and he is out in front now by a score of 15-3. Actually, 3 back points, I believe.
I think he got the escape. Now we won't try to reconstruct it right now. The score definitely 15-3 with a minute to go in the match. And
of course, as we said earlier too, Kirby, this puts all the pressure now on Dave Witt, the 185-pounder from Wisconsin Rapids, who now has to win his match for Wisconsin Rapids to win the team championship.
That's correct, and it should be a dandy. I was just taking a quick look to see it's not going to be one of the ones that will be covered here, but everyone will be kept advised, I'm sure, Marsh. Here we are with Searvogel and the whizzer now, and then the referee, John Rommel, is calling a stalemate situation with 31 seconds to go now. Nelson still in command. He would like to get a pin if he could. I'm sure that that would put icing on the cake, because that would be an additional 2 points that he'd get.
Nelson was 3rd in the state championships last year, and he is out in front 15-3 right now with 20 seconds remaining in the third and final period. Coach Vern Pieper watching very intently, saying, don't make a mistake now. You're in command. You've all but got the championship wrapped up as we move now under 10 seconds. And let's hear the crowd count it down.
And here we are now. 3 seconds. They're counting it down. Nelson has got it 1. There it is.
Well, you hear the Stoughton cheering section erupting in the background as John Nelson has won a state championship for the Vikings, and very, very important team points. Is that a happy young man? You bet it is. Kurt Searvogel, the runner in Madison. We're all set for the award ceremonies in the 155-pound class. That's Kurt Searvogel of Waupun. He's the runner-up. And the winner, John Nelson of Stoughton. 26-2. That was a heck of a match. In Class B, the runner-up Carl Price of East Troy and the champion Ralph Legal of River Valley. And in Class C, the runner-up Bob Smith of Wabeno and the champion Ted Pitts of Mineral Point. Your award winners at 155 pounds.